emotional moment for me to speak of the occasion, to celebrate the life of a person who had a very critical role in everything I did in the last 1 decade. And maybe there will be times when I'll be sharing anecdotes about how one person with one mindset and vision can really impact a lot of things. So I'm a trained scientist PhD, but I decided to switch my career into a different field. So instead of being an active researcher, I thought of becoming a part of this tech ecosystem. So this particular presentation is my personal view, but there will be things I will be talking about from my organization. We heard in the morning about Viksit Bharat. We had been hearing this thing, what India required to do, Bharat versus India, Vishwaguru, like a lot of things we are hearing since morning and last few days. But the most important dimension that I want to touch today in this brief conversation is about the youth and the skilling and the right things we need to do. There are so many dimensions. It's not a unilateral solution. We need to do so many things to be a developed India. And each stakeholder has a role to play. So one should not be really thinking about, look, I'm a student, what I can do, or look, I'm like this person, what I can do. We all have a role to play here. So I really want to highlight some of the things. When we really talk about Viksit India or Viksit Bharat, how does actually that look like? When we will be celebrating 100 years of our independence, there is a vision of the leadership in this country, how India need to look like, right? So I want to elaborate further. What are those underlying factors or the narrative when India would be developed? What are the things we should be paying attention to? Right now, we stand at a critical juncture. In the morning, we also heard 30 years from now are super critical for this country because we have the largest demographic advantage, the largest number of youth in this country, which is of 1.46 billion people, are the superpower. But are we focused, aligned, directed, and doing the things that we require to do to make India develop? That's a question we will be exploring next. So what's the aim? When India will develop, how the economy and the statistics would look like, right? $30 trillion US, $18,500. Can you translate that into Indian rupees? 18 multiplied by 85 per year per person. That's the type of income level we are targeting. And to do that, we have to grow by 7 to 10% every year, nothing less than that. So to reach there, what are the things we need to do? What are the responsibilities? And each one has a responsibility. So when I give you the statistics of the numbers, now I want to talk to you the cultural pillar. How we will reach there? You heard the word innovation a lot, right? But is it a thing? That's a mindset. That's a behavior. That's an ethos. We all are trying to, talk and vision out. Sustainability is not a subject. That's an underlying narrative of how we build the products, how we build the systems, how we build, the methods. Each and everything should have a sustainability lens. How would things sustain after a point, right? Resources are finite. We have to care about the environment. We have to care about water. We have to care about, air we breathe. And if you go out yesterday, you heard about diseases, right? We heard about diabetes, we heard about obesity, we heard about a lot of other things. So public health is another dimension. And then inclusion. We are such a diverse country. And no development is complete without including the last person who is not a part of this development journey. So we know what, we know how. Isn't it amazing? सबको पता ही हमें क्या करना है, कैसे करना है, कहाँ तक जाना है. So there comes science. Why we are talking about it, and as a scientist, what are the things we can do that science can transform? The people in the morning session might have heard the word high tech, deep science. This is the space as a country we are trying to get into. We had been fantastic at services, but is this enough? No. We need to create our own things. We need to create our own solutions which are for our problems. We cannot continue to outsource or delegate or get services for small thing or big thing in a transactional way. We need to have holistic solution that work for this country and for its population. And this is the role of the science. So let me talk about opportunities. Sir has already mentioned about different areas in high performance material. But if I have to pick a few, you really think your energy and focus can sync with, these are some of the themes you can think about. The way we are approaching problems and the way we are putting the context is very different today in the new world we are living. So again I'm asking the same question. We know what, we know how, and we have such critical mass. Now the question is, will we be able to accomplish it? Why not, right? Yes? Maybe? So yes is great, but for maybe, what is the variable? The world we live in. It's volatile, complex, uncertain, ambiguous. You see the war happening suddenly, the petrol price changing, and then you see a lot of other geopolitical shifts, supply chains disrupting, the industries we are setting up had been halted. So it's not random, it's very complicated, but there is an order. So we have to navigate into this time where we have limited control on external circumstances. So we need to be more prepared, we need to be more strategic, we need to think through layer by layer, we need to have plan A, B, C. So with that, how do skills play an important role? And I'm not saying about skilling of students. It's important for directors to put a perspective of the VUCA world. The workforce we have and whatever career stage they are, whether you are a student, whether you are a faculty member, whether you are at different stages, but it's just like the skilling, reskilling and the new skill. Because the times are changing so fast. The things we learned 5 years ago or 10 years ago are no longer relevant. So how do we do then address it? Right now, if you really see where the emphasis in skill, of course there is a technical skill, one can learn about materials, one can learn about batteries, one can learn about any other things, but what is the underlying behind all these skills? Inquisitive approach. We heard enough problem solving. Do we read a course about problem solving, but we end up doing a lot of problem solving? Do we even realize we are building these skills? But isn't it these are the skills critical when you really approach any problem solving in your life? Detailed planning is what I told you in the book about. If planning doesn't work, you need to have a B and then you need to have a C, right? Because not doing or not accomplishing is no longer a choice we have. We have to do it. It is just a question of how we are going to do it, right? That's why we have to imagine all these scenarios. Good execution. Several years ago, when I was starting my career, I ended up meeting like a very learned person. Then I asked him, what do you think is the most important thing for someone who is building their career? What is that one advice you give? And the person said, people can make strategies, but the one who can really implement it seamlessly are the one who bring the changes. So for any change to happen, it's the doing that matters. Thinking is important, saying is also very important, but it's the doing that brings the change. And especially in the era of AI, where you have so many generative AI tools who can really think and we can delegate thinking, even doing becomes even more important. Because intelligent machine can think for us, but intelligent machine cannot do for us everything. And that's where even the emphasis on doing and implementation is very critical. So, at American Chemical Society, we have deliberately started our skilling initiative into multiple dimensions. For students, we have initiatives for job readiness. For faculty members, we have initiatives to develop them into a full stack professional. They can really be more mindful and can think which are these skills and dimensions they want to pursue themselves. And last but not the least, we have to mandatorily build a culture of deep science-based innovation. We can no longer rely just superficially fixing the problems. So I'll just give you a glimpse of one program. This is virtual internship capsule. Student can scan the QR code. It's a freely accessible program with 60-hour learning where you can hone your soft skills about how to read a good paper, what is like IT, what is how to start a startup, what is effective communication, what is research integrity, how to read a good paper, anything and everything you need to do to start being a good professional or a capable professional in STEM space. So this is how we build this program. It's a very user-centric. We talk to industry, we talk to students, we have done surveys, and we learn 82% students feel the need for skilling programs or need for upskilling program to be employable in the market. So ACS content are known for their credibility, and we have curated the content from ACS platform to cater to the need of specific industry segments. It's a continuously iterative process. It's not for India. We are solving for Africa. We are solving for Latin America because in the global south, we have a very similar scenario. So this also gives us like significant global empathy of the challenges are not only limited to one geography or a region. It's like a collective good, and across the boundaries also there are a lot of synergies available. This is a dedicated program where we work with institutions head to upskill their PhD workforce. So empower PhD is nothing to drive more efficiency and make your PhD journey more impactful, more meaningful, and more delicate. So that when you finish your PhD, you have a better sense and clear sense what you want to do with your life next. So you have a more fulfilling and satisfying career, right? Because not everyone is made for research, and not everyone should do research. So it's really about playing your strength. And then there is a process. So goal here is whatever you do excellent, right? And to do things like this excellent, we need to know where we are good at, and then we need to have a training for that. So it's critical for students right now to start asking these questions, where I would be able to make the most meaningful contributions. Because what this country needs is more purpose and excellence. This is our effort that we do with Indian National Science Academy, Faculty Leadership Summit. So this is the range of sessions. It's a fully residential program, and we invite assistant professors from all over India to participate in these type of residential programs. This is a glimpse we did for we did in Gorakhpur University with a lot of faculties from Nepal and different parts of the India. We also did it in Africa, so we are working very closely with the ANRF Africa and African Academy of Sciences to cover several countries in Africa region and cater to the faculty region to provide them with skills and capabilities. That's my nearly last slide, and we are very passionate about it. So last year we started this program. Professor Gio Kulkarni is there, and I'm grateful for his support to be a great partner into this program. We hosted this pilot at CSIR, and we were amazed to see the excitement among the VC community and the startups who are at it. How much it is critical to provide a platform where people can really start talking about where apparently what is talking about. So deep science funding has a very long curve, which is typically not very attractive for a lot of investors. So it requires a significant cultural shift. How would that happen? We should convene more and more conversations where people are more and more aware, and then there are some success stories. So I'm happy to report one. Just within 8 months of the program, one of these startups raised a sizable fund from one of the VCs. So with that, we are going very high on bootcamp innovation, where we are working with institutional leadership. If they really want to build a culture of innovation in their institute, we are here. We are happy to provide skills, we are happy to provide expertise, and we are happy to convene the people that we should work towards solving the problems at scale. So with that, I stop.
Thank you so much.